I've cut out what I can only assume are billions of heads of hair in my Photoshop days, and I have one method that just reigns supreme. Are there others? Yes. Is this the best one? I kind of think so. It's subjective, but is this the quickest? Definitely, and that's why I love it. I'm Abby Esparza, and all the resources featured today can be found over on Envato Elements. Get unlimited downloads of photos and fonts, all with a super simple commercial licensing, plus a no lock-in contract means you can cancel at any time. Go ahead and subscribe now with the link down in the description and a follow along with me. So the best thing about this method, other than how quick it is that it works on all different kinds of hair, with just a few tweaks here and there. So we'll do a full kind of basic run through and then try it out on different hair textures. We're always going to start with a rough selection of the hair, and you can use the magnetic lasso tool, the quick selection tool, or my favorite, the select subject button right here. Then right after, add a mask, and this is going to be our first 2 steps in each and every image. Select subject will already do a great job at selecting a lot of the smaller hair strands, but we will need to jump right into selected mask to do some refining, starting with hitting refine hair. Yet another one click that's going to do a lot of the work for us and works on the majority of hair types, though we'll cover that in a second. You can always Control-Command Z to undo it if you end up with wonky results, so just give it a try and see if it does anything good for you. But right after, let's take a quick look at our view options here. Onion skin is great if you already have your background placed, but I also really like the black and white view so I can see the mask in actual detail. You can also try either on white or on black. That can be really helpful if you don't have a background yet, but you want to optimize for a specific value. So I know my background will be brighter, so I want to make sure this hair looks good on brighter values. I don't need it to look good on a dark background. And in this case, on white also makes it easier to see all this leftover bright pink we're going to have to deal with. But first, we want to grab the Refine Edge brush and look at our edge detection options, because we have some refining yet to do. We want Smart Radius checked, and the radius set to 3 to 5 pixels. I'll split the difference and go with 4. And we're going to use this brush to add and remove from the mask. So the Refine Hair button does an excellent job of selecting and refining all those little hair strands, but it also tends to grab too much of the hair highlights. We can see this in the black and white view. So what we're going to do to fix this is hold Alt/Option, if you're on a Mac, and drag the Refine Edge brush on the inner part of the hair. And this will bring back all those highlights that Photoshop mistook for hair strands. We can also use the brush without holding the Alt option to add to the mask. So if you notice a big bit of hair that should have been grabbed but wasn't, we can include that in just by clicking and dragging. And this is really going to be your main brush. This is going to be auto-selecting and auto-removing everything you need. However, we can use the normal brush tool to add or take away from the mask. This works just like a standard brush. Paint to add, or hold Alt/Option to remove. This is excellent if you don't want to wait for the auto-select tools to know what you do or do not want to hide. If there's just a big old chunk that you know you don't want, just go ahead and paint that out, or paint in a edge here or there. Some hair types need this more than others. We'll cover that here coming up. But this looks about good for this straight hair type. So with that done, we can look at the global settings. With hair, Shift Edge is really going to be the only setting that matters. This shifts the masks either inwards or outwards, and usually inwards is what we want, which can really help remove some of the background and make the hair strand come off a bit cleaner. However, 10%, maybe 20% is all you're ever going to need, never more than 20%. Go too far and things will look real bad real fast. But even with that, we have this hot pink color just peeking through. It's a hard color to get rid of, but checking decontaminate colors is going to pretty much knock out most of it. I like to bring it down to around 50 and gradually increase the amount until I can't see that color anymore. You'll end up at 100% a lot of the time, but the smaller the amount, the better. The decontaminate colors can look a little wonky at the higher amount on some hair. So even if you can get away with 95 versus 100, I'd go for the 95. Now you'll also notice with decontaminate colors checked, the output will change to new layer with mask, and that's because decontaminate color is destructive. It permanently changes the pixel of the layer we're applying it to. Let's press OK and take a look. So here's our copy. And if we hide this mask, we can see all the color Photoshop added into those hair strands to try and remove the pink background. I always suggest holding on to the copy just in case you need it, because that is pretty brutal. Now, I am still seeing a bit of pink, and I think it's just because it's in the highlights of the hair, which is going to be common with these really vibrant background colors. We can help out decontaminate color by clipping a color layer into the subject. So a new layer, set the color. Then we can color pick from the hair, just like a brownish color in this case. And then we're going to paint on the edges of hair or anywhere we see some of that pink color, just to get rid of some of that bounce light or ambient light. Like I said, this pink is pretty brutal. But this is looking good. We can look at it on a couple of different backgrounds we have here. And you can always go back into select and mask and keep refining. But I want to move on and look at different hair textures and styles. Mainly tight curls and afro style hair, along with braids and locks. Like before, select subject and a mask will do a great initial job, so I'm going to do that real quick. And now, while in select a mask, I'm going to change it to black and white view because I want to see what refined hair actually does to this hairstyle. So refined hair does fine with afros and tighter curls, definitely give it a try, but you'll want to make sure and go in with the refined edge brush with smart radius checked and radius set to 3 to 5 pixels. Because you're going to have to bring in a lot of that body back from the curls. And we're holding Alt/Option while doing this. Refined hair just has a really bad habit of taking away way too much body of the hair, and so the hair is going to start looking very thin and almost transparent if we don't take special care to do this. And we can further fill in the hair using the standard brush while also removing the smaller, strangly curls, kind of shaping the hair more. And you can always hop back and forth between that and the refined edge brush. And we don't want to mess with the fullness of the curls, so I do at most a small 5% edge shift. You could probably even get away with 0. And now I want to take a look at locks and braids. We select and mask just like usual, and then go right into select and mask, the actual button. And the main difference here is not using refine hair. Instead, go right to the refine edge brush, set the radius up, and then check decontaminate color. And you want to zoom in nice and close and just brush along the braid or each lock in this case. We want to make sure each section of hair stays nice and solid. This will also be the case for any type of braid, whether it's one solid, like fishtail braid, or several. Since these are solid or dense pieces of hair, we want to make sure refined hair doesn't eat into them too much. That's what I call it. And again, they will appear transparent when they aren't. They are solid sections of hair. After a quick pass with that refined edge brush, we can press OK, and we're all done. And that's really going to be the base of cutting out most, if not every head of hair you kind of come across. There are other ways, but the speed of this is just chef's kiss. And the worst case scenario, it gets you 70% of the way there and just finish up with some hand masking. But that'll do it for today. Check out some of the other awesome videos that Envato Tuts Plus has to offer. If you liked this video, consider giving us a like and even subscribing if you still need to, and remember to click the little bell icon to be notified of all new videos, including tips, tricks, and of course tutorials. Happy designing! See you next time.